That's right, it's a white elephant in the room, and welcome to Weird Al used spaceships. Blah, 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 blah. Redo.
Can't redo. It's live.
I didn't put the
All right, well,
doesn't matter. Kick on.
Botching up the intro.
This is why we do practice runs, Al.
I know. That's why we practice. Welcome to Inforunners and our used ship sale. Looking at the 100i, the 300 series, and anything in between. We figured we'd do a live show. We haven't done one in a while. So if you've got any questions, put them in the stream. We'll try and answer them. And we'll also have a look at some of the 100i questions that we think, from the Q&A, that we think we can answer, or hopefully can answer from what we've heard. So, I'm Al.
I'm Execute.
And below us we've got
Haze.
Or Man Bun for today. We'll call him Man Buns.
All right.
Yeah.
What a shocker.
Yep, there was one person in the chat, they're loving your stuff. That's great.
Awesome. Love we can be entertaining.
Yes, it's good. Where should we start then? 100i. We've had a lot of discussions about this over the last hour or two over getting ready already.
And the first show we put out, we avoided the whole conversation because we thought the 300 was more interesting to talk about.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'd be really surprised, and I've already heard back from a lot of people that they have actually, in fact, brought that game package with the 100i and upgraded it to a 300i. And
congrats on you for common sense and foresight. You know?
Well, I suppose the real starting point should be that it is still free flight weekend until Thursday for the Aussies, Wednesday for everyone else. And with that, if you go to the store and scroll down a bit, you can actually find those packages on sale with a $11 discount, basically. Apart from the 100 series. So the Aurora, the Mustang, and the Reliant Core.
Either way, it's a good deal. I mean, LTI game packages do not get sold often. This is like a rare endangered species.
I've never seen one.
It's really, it actually kind of baffles me in a way that they don't have them. I find it really strange. In fact, most people at this point of time, they grab a game package and then they grab another ship with LTI on it just to be safe. I know they keep saying it's not worth it. Then how come they don't offer it then? You know, like.
Yep.
And this isn't. Look, I know this is a little bit off topic, right? And I know you guys are very on topic people, but I want to ask your opinion. What is your thoughts on LTI? Should it just be given to everyone? Real quick, one paragraph answer from both of you. I'm not even going to reply. I'm just curious to know what your responses are going to be.
My thought is any ship purchased pre-launch with cash or with credit should have LTI.
Okay, and Haze?
Two-part response. Personally, I really don't give a shit. But second part is they're a business, and their entire business is built on limited availability. And their entire business model is we provide limited availability because it sells and it makes us money, and it's a proven business model. Why cook the golden goose that lays you a golden eggs? So it doesn't make sense to stop what they do.
I guess my counter argument, playing devil's advocate to what you just said, Haze, is because I kind of agree with both of you. I just think they need to get to everyone. And the counter argument to that is they've made all these promises along the way that they've just kept breaking. Like, only original veteran backers will get this, blah, blah, blah. Quite frankly, if you're paying money, I don't think you should ever have a risk where I've spent $250 on said ship, that I lose that $250. Anyway.
Well, they have answered that. They have answered that in one of the chats. I think it was either concierge chat or hang on, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hang on.
They've basically said that that you're not going to lose ships if you buy them now, but they're changing it. They're coming around to this idea. I know where Algared's about to go. Anyway, let's get back to the 100i conversation. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, it is like there literally is an elephant in the room on this. They are not talking about the 300 series. The biggest question is, and I'm going to go back to this is one of the questions.
Do you want me to bring it up?
I
can bring it up. Q&A thread. Oh, you don't have to, but this is in the top 10. I don't know the exact number. But Longcut asks in this Q&A version 2, can we get confirmation on what is going on with marketing? LTI on a 4-year-old ship reskin in one sale, then no LTI on concept unless cash only. And this is a really good question for a number of reasons. I mean, what the hell is marketing sort of thinking? They're reselling the 300i concept almost identical to what it is in game right now and rebranding it as the 100i. And but they're not explaining why. They're not explaining what happens to the 300. It's sort of like we're just not going to talk about it and provide zero information. And it leads people to say, why would I buy this? And what happens to the old 300? And what does this mean if I buy one of these? What happens to this other? And literally, the 300 series is only $10 more than 100i. If you spend another $100 on top of this concept, you've got a 300, but then what happens to there? Like, did I get conned buying this 100i when for another $10 I could have got a ship?
No, because you're buying LTI.
Well, look at the weapons. You got a size 4 and 2 size 3. It's going to be a bigger ship. It's probably going to, whatever the 100i is doing now, the 300 is going to do. And so why would anyone buy a 100i when you can think, well, the 300 series is still cheapest chips, and if you're replacing the 300 with this 100i, what's the 300 going to be? This is the big question. They are deadly silent about.
And then you've got the 600 at the other end that's really bracketing it, so it can't go too high.
No, I could say it could go too high. The thing is, that it should be a midway point for between the 100 and the 600 should be the 300, which means it would be in a much bigger ship than what it is currently.
Well, I think it goes back to what we were talking about the other day.
Well, it's like a 22-meter ship versus a 90-meter ship, and midway point, where's that? That's pretty big. I doubt that it's going to get that big, but this is a big question, and they seem very unwilling to provide any answers for this.
One little caveat I'll chuck in there is, realistically, if you look at the cabin of the 300i currently and the 100i, you're still going to get probably a little bit more cargo. But other than that, everything you said is actually 100% correct. They are fundamentally too similar on paper, and I think it really is a nod of the hat to say that 300 is going to increase in size drastically, as we stated the other day. But let's not go over that too much, because we went over the 300i a lot. Let's actually talk about the 100i and its variants. Like I know, Algared, you have really strong feelings about this ship as a starter ship. What do you think it brings to the table?
Well, I think the thing it brings to the table are two things. One, it's got the bed, which makes it classic, straight, in line with every one of the Auroras.
And
it's in line with
the beta.
It's in line with the beta. And they're the only starter ships that have the bed. The other thing it's got is the internal cargo space, so you can actually carry cargo in, place it down. Which the only other ship that's got that in the ships that have been designated as starter ships by CIG is the Reliant Core, which I don't like because it's a death trap. It's even more a death trap than the Aurora.
I think we've talked about that one a bit before. I think that's up for a
remake
as well.
You'd have to look at our starter series to see that one.
Yeah. Look, I know I said I didn't want to talk about 300i too much, but someone's asked a question in chat, how big do you think the 300i will grow to? And someone else has said that they think that it'll be about freelancer styles. And that's about where we said it was going to go to, didn't we?
We think freelancer cutlass size.
Yeah. I think it's already, 24 or 26 meters long, so growing to 30 meters is not a huge jump.
Mm-hmm.
The question is how fast
see what you did there. Origin jump, don't worry. Origin jump works. See, click, pun, jumped. Clever.
But the thing is, it will grow in size. I don't know how much, but the thing is, they made this 100i almost the same size. Have you looked at those ship size comparison images? They're almost exactly the same.
Actually, I could probably bring that up if you.
I'll keep talking while you're having fun with that.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting sort of conundrum. I don't know what they're thinking, and the thing is, what really amazes me, they say this is supposed to be a starter ship. It doesn't fit with other starter ships. I mean, you look at the base model, it doesn't have anything that makes it any better than the other ones, other than Algared said putting cargo internally. But
and that's the only thing. That's the thing that if you're only getting one starter ship and you're starting off at base level, then that internal cargo space trumps the Aurora because it's got the bed. Especially if you're using the cargo variant with its undercarriage as well, because it's got the same cargo space as a Aurora would have. It trumps the Mustang because the Mustang, well, it doesn't have a bed. So yeah,
I don't necessarily agree with that because the
I've got
idea of
the,
carrying cargo containers sort of.
I've got that
You know,
image.
Okay, put that up.
Um,
Zoom into the
hang on.
origin.
I'm multitasking here. Hold on. It's that one. There we go. So you can see there's the 100, there's the 300. There's not a lot of difference there. And as I said, like really, if you take the cargo bay into account, that is most of the size difference. And if you kind of trim these wings down, you know, they've tried to make it look like it's a smaller version, but seriously, it's just so similar.
The same cockpit space because it doesn't have the external engine coming out the back. That's the most of the size decrease.
Yeah. It's a very similar thing. Like when I heard people kind of talking about, there's going to be another Aegis starter ship, like they kind of hinted on Reverse the Verse this week. I just don't see it happening because it's
Another
just
Aegis ship.
Yeah, it's not just that, but it's so small that what would the Avenger do? Like it just still you're making a ship that is going to be almost redundant as soon as you buy it, like as soon as it's concepted. The 300 must increase in size. It's just like for the money, you would never buy a 100i. Even if the 300i stays where it is, why the hell would you buy a 100?
Yep.
well, you got to remember, from when they were doing the RTV the other day, that the guys were constantly saying this is a starter ship for people who are just starting up. It's not the type of ship you would go back to.
Yeah.
The only reason older backers will get one is for that
A to B ship. I think out of the three ships, it's probably the best one for A to B, purely based on the refuel mechanic. It's going to save you a little bit of cash when you're traveling, so therefore you'll use it more often.
We just had David Iceland say about modular would be cool, like smaller 600i. Well, I honestly think it will be, those big thick curves, a bit of a thicker ship as opposed to a slimline current 300. I could totally see that happening. In fact, someone on the forums has already sort of done some sketches that look exactly like that. They've done essentially a 30-meter, what looks like a 600i, but miniaturized, like on a smaller scale. I could totally see that being a thing.
I think it'll be somewhere between what it was and a 600i. So, like if they had a baby type of thing, or because they're getting that origin style down. And you can even see it in the 100i. It is way more stylized than the 300 ever was.
That's right. You could even see in that 100i that even the front kind of had fallbacks to the 890. That kind of duck look.
The bent nose duck thing. I know what you're talking about. Where it
kind of in.
Yeah.
Which I quite like. I like that. I like that ability to see the style of a ship. I think in terms of why have the 100 series. Part of the answer was in when they were answering the other day, when they said, well, when we were looking at the 300 series and fixing all the problems, we realised that basically it was moving too far away from being a starter ship, so we needed a new starter ship. Now, that is the clearest indication that it has been given, even though they didn't want to say it, but it's growing. It's no longer a starter ship. It's no longer in that category. It's big. And you look at the weapons, as I think Haze was mentioned in the past.
I'd like to segue onto that at the moment. The whole thing is the 100 series, okay, but it seems like they've half-assed that we've got to make a starter now because the 300's been made into something completely different. But then they didn't try to slot it in with the other starter ships, like the Eora, like the Mustang. I mean, look at I'll just hang with me for a second.
Yeah, I'll answer.
The 125A and the 135, let's say. I'll start with the 125A. It is the only thing different is it has like two S1 missiles, but it is slower than a Mustang, less maneuverable.
Actually, it's like faster than
the firepower.
It's also faster than the 100i. That's the other thing that people don't understand. If you actually look at the brochure, the 100i is.
Well, they literally said it in the Q&A. They said that the 100i, the 125 A is slower, but it's like half undergunned. It's like they're not taking it seriously as a model in its own class, and yet it's supposed to be. And there's sort of ballpark, and then you look at the cargo variant. It's just got cargo, but there's nothing that sets it apart from the other starters, really.
No, it's got that module attachment at the base that clicks on.
Yeah,
Which
Well,
is-
no,
all
it's
the
not a
hospitals
module.
are-
They're all
No, that's right.
separate hulls. They've
That's
even
right.
stated that.
They have said they
No,
separate
no, no,
hulls.
no. They said in the verse, and this was after the Q&A, and that's why I'm taking its word because it was a live stream, that they have not locked in whether they're doing modular or actually part of a whole. And they're not far,
I thought
that
that
far in
was.
design.
But
I thought that was when they were
John
talking about.
Crew,
Sorry,
but John Crew
sorry,
also
Algared.
said-
The
Algared.
rest of the verse.
I swear that was when they were talking about the Avenger, not the 100i, but I could
Yeah.
be wrong. Anyway, Algared,
I thought the variant bit was about the Avenger as well, but John Crew did say when they were talking about when it was answering the question, he said, "Yeah, we got a whole lot of questions that we were basically given. That you gave us a whole pile of these questions based on the questions that people may ask because the comment was made, from the Q&A, and he basically reiterated what was being said in the Q&A questions. So my memory is that the 100i is distinct variants. You can't take the cargo pod from the 100i and put it on the 125.
The other
It's
thing I
again,
would add to what
those
Algared just
messages
said.
they love to do.
Sorry, Haze, say again.
They're doing those mixed messages again, where one hand doesn't talk to the other, and then they sort of get their facts a little skewed, and you're not really sure what's what.
I also think this has been kind of rushed a bit, like you said, because they had said they have the Mustang and they have the Aurora, and they've put this right in the middle. They've copied stats from both and slotted them in, and then given it a tiny little niche of this speed boost thing to try and make it different in a quick, not nasty, but just a quick way.
It's not well thought out. Like the Mustang and the Aurora, lots of thought and time and effort and love was stuck into these ships. This thing seems like we came up with an idea and they just rushed it out. And again, the sale information has sort of suffered from that.
That's an interesting point that Chumley brings up. Well, it's another ship that could fit into the Carrot hangar at 20 meters. That's
Well, as they
might
said,
have something to play with there, maybe.
as
I
they
don't know.
said, I think in the RTV, it's concepted. They've got the metrics. They haven't really designed it to go into any ship.
They haven't designed it at all. Like, I mean, they put two S1 weapons. Look at the 85X. It's got forts, size 1, and it's undergun compared to almost every other snub out there. At the end of the day, they didn't even do their homework. This thing is so rushed out that it's like they're willing to put it to sale before someone could double check whether this ship made sense.
And I've got to admit, you said the other night when we were talking, Haze, that it's a snub ship. And you look at the stats and you look at the measurements, and it's barely bigger than the snub ships.
And that would be for the engine that allows it to quantum.
So it's very much fits in that range. It's shorter than an Aurora. It's wider than Aurora. It's about a meter shorter than an M50. So it's very close to M50 stats. But that's about it. That's the closest to the ships we've got. But in terms of snubs, it's very close to those as well. So yeah, it's a weird ship. It's classed as a small ship, but in size, it's really a snub. And in terms of armaments, most of the snub ships are better than it. So although the 85X or the X85 isn't considered a snub, it's considered a small ship.
Yeah, it's just in such a weird place.
Yeah. Confusion abounds.
So really, the confusion about it is very clear. If you look at the Q&A part 2, where they've asked questions, most of it is questions in a matter of confusion. Most of them ask about why is this so undergun? How does it fit in with other like starter ships?
What's
does
happening
this
with the
mean for
300
series? Because these answers, they don't have answers. They only have assumptions. And you know what? I think they will refuse to answer any questions regarding the 300 because then it cuts into the whole 100i sale.
And if they don't answer them, or say they did answer them rather, it'll be a very delayed Q&A, like to the last days, as long as they can push it as far as they can to the back.
Because they know it's going to cut into their sales. Why would anyone buy this ship?
I think also that's why they, to be honest, that's why they've included a package, because they knew it wasn't going to sell well. They haven't offered a starter ship with a package like for a really long time. Like I'm thinking a couple of Christmases ago, like 3 Christmases ago, was the last time I saw an LTI game package. And And
I haven't.
right, they
I
will
have, no,
sell
it's even longer than that.
Doesn't matter what
Is it?
ship's
Okay.
attached to it.
Predates me.
Yeah.
Yeah. A cheap LTI game package will sell like hotcakes no matter what.
Yeah. And I think that's what they're really selling.
Yeah.
It's a starter pack with an LTI.
This is slightly off topic,
later.
but David Iceland in chat has asked, I wonder how the size weapons will be upgraded. And I think that's a really important thing. I think they're going to change the scale a bit. I don't think like a size 2 is going to be double a size 1. I think it's going to be a percentage scale now. I think it might be...
It's not really about how size 1 and 2 weapons interact with each other. The fact is you've got other ships that are smaller than this one, or the same size, with double the hard points.
I think
it's not a matter of scaling weapons, it's a matter of you literally have twice as much.
It's that, but it's that plus it's the scale though, because a lot of people that have size 1's weapons, they just seem like you're shooting confetti.
Yeah, I don't know. 85x is pretty like hardcore when you get the right weapons on it. Like it can do damage.
Yeah.
You know, you look at
Compare
the 100i to the P52. Two size 1s and a size 2 versus 2 size 1s. You know, I think that's the P52.
The stats they stuck on this ship are completely disingenuous, no matter what ship you look at. It's just,
you know, so
yeah, they've kind of bashed this sail together, but I'm pretty sure you guys would make this bet as well. That ship is going to be so different when it comes out guns wise. Like I'd either expect 4 size 1s or 2 size 2s at this point, just from the backlash.
I would expect 3 guns actually. I'd expect a nose gun.
There you go.
And I'd expect a 2 wing gun similar to what the 300 series has.
Yeah, that would make sense. 2 size 1s and a size 2. I could see that.
You know, and I think that would balance it. That would at least put it on par with a P52 for weaponry. It'd put it slightly under X85.
So weird though. They could have just made variants of the 85X.
Douglas has just said in chat, $60.50 USD. That's Australian pricing for an LTI package is good, and they only started with LTI.
If you don't
it is not the only. It's the only one that's available, and it's the only one that's been offered in a really long time. But it's not the only one. I actually have Aurora LTI game packages from way back in the day. They do exist. They're just old, and they don't offer them anymore. And that's part of what we were talking about before. Like, why don't they offer these anymore? It's a bit weird. And it is, even if they if they didn't offer LTI, how would you guys feel about LTI on an Aurora? But as soon as you upgrade the Aurora, it no longer has LTI. Or Mustang, like a starting package that if you upgrade it, it loses the LTI. I wouldn't have a problem with that either, personally, but that's just me.
We're going to get stuck into an LTI.
I know. It's the thing that always comes up because everyone's just so concerned about it. And it just points in the direction of CIG's thinking. But yeah, you're right. We do need to talk more about ships. So,
like, just before we finish, the LTI issue, I think it continually comes up because we're told it doesn't mean anything, but we keep seeing sales that have it.
They know it means something to us.
They know it means something to us, and even if it doesn't mean anything, even if it is totally,
no, right. I think you're right because they're saying one thing, but then trying to say the other side as if they have their cake and they get to eat it at the same time, and that's what they're saying. I think
ultimately it comes down to what you've said, Haze. They're a business. They've got to look after the income. They know this sells.
Yeah, but the thing is, they could be a little bit more honest and forthcoming about it. You know, it's like, yes, we are. You know, it is worth something, and yes, we're going to be limiting it, and we're going to keep flogging it. But you know, at least be honest about it.
We've been studying for the last while. They seem to be getting greedier, but I also think if you look back even further over the last couple of years, as more different marketing people come in, they're getting more and more like other publishers and EA and Ubisoft do their stuff and not doing it as community driven as they used to be. And I think I really like the community side of things. I'm starting to get a bit annoyed because it's becoming a bit more like everyone else.
To be completely honest, their marketing department has been rather retarded in the head. No offense to all those people working at CIG and marketing, but you have been completely inconsistent for all the years I've been backing Star Citizen.
Yep.
And you make mistakes and foul things that are so I can pick up in a second, but yet you seem to ram these things together at the last second and then make jarring mistakes continually, whether it's with public perception, optics, the stats you try to sell these things on, or like even inconsistencies in the stores where things are up for the the wrong prices or are not working properly, or the tons of stuff, like forgetting even to put out the Q&A once.
Would you say that's because they're not kind of invested or of the community as we would probably hope they to be? They're more from a traditional marketing background?
I don't know. I think either it's a mix of incompetencies or the Hydra has too many heads. It's like a chef with 10 heads.
I think I would go just either too many people, too many cooks in the office or the kitchen. I don't think it's an endeavour to come across as greedy. I don't think it's an endeavour to be inept or deliberately mislead. And the marketing people I've spoken to over the years have been backers. They've been people who bought the ships. So
there's always an air of traditional marketing, though, and I think there's obviously multiple people working there, as you say, but I think they're going back to their prior experience, and unfortunately, this game's just 6 degrees of separation from others.
I feel like they don't have a proper head of marketing that everything goes by this person, and they're supposed to just catch those things that slip through the cracks continuously and repeatedly. Because they don't learn from their mistakes. They really don't. They keep repeating them, and that's concerning part.
All right, let's leave it there because we are keep talking about it. We're really bad at this. Let's get back to the 100i. Does anyone actually have any questions or thoughts of what they think of the LTI is like? If you do, chuck it in chat because I'd love to hear from you. And let's talk about the variants themselves. So you've got, your Explorer Edition, which is 100i. You've got a 125A, which is your combat variant, and you got your 135C, which is your cargo variant.
Okay,
what of those?
Why? Why is the Explorer Edition? What does it do that the others don't? Why is it an Explorer Edition, or is it just like the general touring? Is it just like it's got nothing extra on it? Because that's the way it seems.
That is what it seems.
Market this.
In fact, it's got less. It's got less than the cargo variant. The cargo variant has the bed. It has two units of internal space, plus it's got 4 units of external storage space.
It's
a better. That is a better
ship in every way and dynamic. Like, why would you buy it over the 135?
135C.
C. There you go. It's shocking. I mean, like they make a base unit. You think that'd be the cargo unit or something like that, and then put 2 other variants that had specific roles or something. It's weird.
I would imagine that the 135 will be have some better sensors, just like the P has. But
100i.
Better scanning suite, something of that nature. Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it'll have a better scanning suite, but
they haven't sold this. Their marketing has not defined this or tried to sell that.
Some of them are because of the nature of development. Some of this stuff isn't defined. We're only starting now.
This isn't about development.
We're
in the marketing phase. This is the selling of product phase.
Can I just give you an example? Right? They mentioned fueling this week, and for the first time, I can actually look at fueling and see now how long distance is going to separate from short distance. That's the first time we've seen a post like that. I'm just saying we haven't really seen a huge in-depth understanding to give. Go ahead.
The problem is they're thinking that this refueling mechanic is going to sell this ship on its own. For that's the main merit why you buy this ship. And they've left all the other reasoning, all the other explanations for the other variants to the wind. There is no other reason to get the other variants compared to some of the other starter ships, other than this refueling mechanic, which they have only just touched on. And they've left every other feature out of the marketing. There is nothing. You're just going to buy this on faith, and literally.
It does sound like they came up with a very gimmicky name for that system, the air system. It sounds like that was wrapped up in 5 minutes.
Well, the other thing with the system is, so what if it can process 8 different types of gas in the verse? It's if the Aurora can process gas as well. And it can process hydrogen and do that just as well. And hydrogen's the most plentiful. Big deal. That refuel system will come into play, but for most of the times, it's not going to be that big a deal.
Honestly, the selling point of the 100i around that fuel system will be it'll be the smallest ship that is capable of doing that. They've stated there'll be other ships can do it. I think though, as a size thing, it'll be the smallest ship that can do that, and that's its special little niche, and that's why it's called the air system, because it's probably a more compact, smaller version than that. And then
as soon as you go up and scale to a slightly larger ship, that's a moot point because it's the smallest ship of its size. But once you move up to a larger ship, you've got a larger fuel range. It's a moot point. It's like as soon as you upgrade to any larger ship, that is not a defining feature.
Hang on a minute. You were going on only a few shows ago about the small size of the Vulcan fuel.
Yeah, but let me ask now: how many more systems would a Vulcan be able to fly over compared to this ship?
Yes, but I don't think it's exactly a
or
mute
any
point
size
because
ship the same as a Vulcan. At the end of the day,
it might be mutant from A to B, but it won't be mute on the savings. If you can go up to a place and gather a whole, if it takes a while, but you get a whole, excuse me, I got the hiccups, a whole fuel canister or a whole full fuel pod, that saves you a fair bit of money, and it saves you a trip out to Cryostro.
Well, I don't agree with that because generally fuel and insurance and ammunition are supposed to cost some of the least expensive costs, ongoing running costs in the game. It should be like impartial to what you're actually doing. You should be earning a great deal more money, and what you're actually going to be spending your money on is like investing in components or investing in new gear or like saving up for that next new ship. This fuel cost you're talking about is a very minor expense. And so they're putting a minor saving onto a minor expense. At the end of the day, I would prefer functionality over whatever this is supposed to be providing.
Well, I think the idea is that the air system will give better functionality. But the problem is, from their fuel document, is that while there might be 8 different gases that you can process into fuel, your tank can only take fuel from one of those that's processed from one of those types of gases. So if you've been processing argon and you come across a huge nitrogen cloud, and you want to process that, you've basically got to purge your argon gas fuel and make your nitrogen gas fuel. Now, the Aurora has fuel scoops, which can process, can refuel stuff. The difference is the air system can actually do different types of fuels.
Yeah.
Okay,
but it's still got that problem of storing the fuel. So while it's got that great system, I don't think it's going to be that big a difference in terms of an Aurora
it's a minor advantage.
It's a minor advantage. It's certainly not worth.
Are you calling it a gimmick?
A gimmick to sell a rush sale, maybe.
I wouldn't go as far as saying a gimmick. I think it's just not thought out as well as it could have been. Like there will be times where that will come in handy. Like if I'm flying my little ship and I'm running, I've filled up with hydrogen gas and I'm running out of my hydrogen fuel, and I've got my Aurora next to me and it's flying and it can only process hydrogen fuel, and we're both running out of gas, and I come up and I go, I've now hit the nitrogen gas and I can fuel up and refuel on nitrogen gas. The Aurora's got to call up for the Vulcan, but I can keep going.
What was the last concept we have that was less thought out than this one? I can't think of it. I don't think think about it. Maybe land claim beacons, but otherwise an actual ship, an actual vehicle even. I don't think we've had a ship concept that this was this badly marketed with so little information, and the design and the thought put into this is
P-52 maybe?
Amount of effort. We're going back a long way there.
I'm going to go a step further. Why was it rushed? And the only thing I can come back to is that they want to show off the 300i, but they know that they had to put that gap in.
Put something in the gap, yeah.
Well, they said that on the stream.
Yeah.
They said that on the stream.
Yeah.
They blatantly said that on the stream. We have all these problems, as they were talking about the 100i. We've got all these problems with the 300. And as we were working them out, we said we've got to put in a new starter ship.
There's one. David, you were asking for one that was rushed. Banner Defender.
Oh, I beg to differ. That was really well designed. I really like that.
I think the visual. I think he's talking about the visual element. But yeah, I do think that they should have thought through the visibility a lot more.
I like the visibility on it. I like it.
I like the look of the Banner Defender. I like the concept. I like the ideas behind it.
There's so many easy ways you can fix that too. You can just have it so it's got a remote cockpit. Problem solved. You've got remote turrets. What's a remote cockpit?
MFDs, right? They don't. They have these Even look at the Cartual, it's all images that come up. And same with the 600 series they've shown us.
Just
There's no
have
MFEs.
you can just have it
Literally
in your helmet. You can have it in your helmet.
Well, it's not even in the helmet. It's a hologram within the ship itself. And with this huge open cockpit, no matter what you think of the positioning of that cockpit, it's going to be a much better view than almost all the fighters are.
You know what they could do, actually, now I thought about it. You remember how they showed off the conversation on the Squadron 42, and they had Mendelsohn talking to the guy from Game of Thrones? They could just have it as a 3D hologram as you fly, like it just shows a section of space in front of you in 3D inside the cockpit.
Think of it another way. They complain that there's arms along the side, right? Like tunnel vision, whatever, horse blinders. But think of it, other ships that have it like this. At the end of the day, you're just trading one view on that side to this view on the other bit. To me, that's not a big deal. Like I can still roll and adjust my view and see far out to either side as much as I want, as well as have great center visibility. I don't see the problem. People saying it could have been better, but it's not bad. Not by a long shot, especially compared to these ships these days. You can't even see the underside of a ship cockpit.
And it is still only in concept.
Yeah,
and so many ships.
So a lot of those issues will get dealt with.
They've said it's a kind of a
I hope.
bug anyway that they're trying to fix. So yeah. Look, getting back to the 100 series, man, we're terrible today going off topic, but that's how the questions roll.
I think we're on topic.
Yeah, the questions are coming in. We're answering
No,
them.
we did say it was 100, 300, and
Yeah.
everything in between.
With the 100, I'd actually say the other part of the 100, specifically the exploration variant, is probably got larger fuel tanks. That's why it's probably slightly slower than the 125A. That's my personal belief. It lends itself credence to the Explorer variant. Also brings it in line when you think about the cargo variant. But do you think that could be a possibility? Bigger fuel tanks on the 100i? Doesn't state that. It's totally a guess.
You mean the 135?
No, I think the
Explorer version?
No, the Explorer is called the Explorer variant is the 100i.
Okay. The cargo variant is the 135.
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I can see that.
The reason why the 125A is faster than the other ones is because it's got nothing that differentiates it as a combat model other than this tacked on 2 missiles. I mean, at the end of the day, they thought, oh,
No, it will have armor because it's a combat variant.
you will have armor, I'm sure, but it's still it's woeful of a ship. I've never seen a supposed military variant that was this woeful. Have you? Compared to its brothers and sisters.
Just going to bring this up for a real quick second, so people can see what the hell I'm talking about.
Given that I think the P-52 is better than it,
That says a lot, doesn't it?
I would say probably not.
So just here, gents, I hope you guys can all see this. This is the speeds of the different versions. So the 100i, as you can see, 210, 125A, 230, and 135C, 190. And I think that clearly points to the reason the 125 is kind of like a standard fuel tank. I think having a larger fuel tank makes it go slightly slower on the 100i, and then also the extra cargo on the 135C
Makes it go
slower.
slower. As well.
Now, what it could actually be is the 100i has a standard fuel tank, and therefore the 125 just has a smaller one. Or I don't know.
We're just speculating. This is
total
pure
pure
Total
speculation
based on the speeds. Right.
Yeah. Total speculation. But we've seen
there's so
in
little sale information in this sale that I've never has there been another concept with so little information about what they're selling.
Yeah, I also think we've seen it in other variants, other exploration variants that they have larger fuel tanks. That's why I'm speculating this. I'm trying to actually find reasons. I'm digging here. Why would I buy a 100i exploration variant over the very clear? In my book, the clear choice is the C. I can see it being used as an A to B vehicle. I can see it possibly even being used as a blockade runner. I don't see the use of 2 size 1 missiles. It was an extra couple of gun slots, maybe, but I just don't see it. It's black. Maybe that's the only other reason. But of the 3 variants, the C to me is the only choice. And here's the next question for you. If I don't have cargo, or I only have 2 units of cargo, does it go the same speed as the 100?
I would imagine, because since they have often said that a fully laden ship will go slow, will have affected flight models. Certainly, a 125 with just 2 units, or a 100 with just 2 units of fuel cargo rather than everything else will go faster than one that's fully laden. Question whether those speeds are a fully laden 135 or is that a fully laden African Swallow, or is that European swallow. And is it carrying the coconuts in a straight line, or Monty Python eat your heart out, that type of stuff?
I'm just lost for words on this entire concept. I would love to know what they were thinking when they put this up. Because in this new Q&A, I will be very interested in to see all the questions they don't answer, like the top voted questions. Because some of these questions are asking blatant things they do not want to answer.
I think it'll answer...
They'll either delay it, or they won't answer them.
That'll answer more than what they answer.
Yes, I believe
I
so.
think
What
the main thing they were doing with this concept sale was the fact that the 300 is going through such a major refit. And they said, we need a new starter ship to take the place of the 300.
Most of the questions are 300 related, and how it relates to the 100i and how that puts the weight of the 300 and sort of questions that I think a lot of the questions in the actual community Q&A are going to go unanswered, or they're going to completely dodge the bullet.
Yep.
I think one thing that would make this ship slightly stronger is if at the moment they're talking about it, whether it could be variants or modules. I think it definitely needs to be modules, just to increase the strength of it ever so slightly. And
That makes sense.
And I honestly, at this point, I don't even know why they bothered with variants. I would have just put all three together and have it in one, because it's not that much stronger. Like, do the math. It's two size ones, two missiles, and it carries 6 SSU of cargo. It's the Aurora LN. I don't get it.
Aurora LN.
It's not.
The Aurora LN is 6 units of cargo, 4 guns, and 4 missiles.
Yeah.
Well, it is the Aurora LN, only it's not.
You know what I mean. It's the better version that doesn't even quite get there. But
it's a nicer looking version. That's about it.
It just seems too weak.
The whole, it's like, it's luxury, therefore you pay more and get less. Like, that argument doesn't even run with this, because it's not touted as luxury either, is it?
No, but it does look nice. I will say, I think it is the nicest looking of the 3 base starter ships.
No. Mustang rework is sexy as I can't.
Okay, true. But Mustang rework is looking sexy.
It's sexy.
Although I
it's
prefer
faster,
the Mustang to have skids,
better guns. Yeah, sorry, Mustangs are awesome.
Legs or whatever it's got. But
don't get me started on the new Mustang rework. I always get really salty about how they
I love it.
I do, but I think they could have still made it so you can land on the wings, just have little wheels come up the bottom. Such a unique thing of that ship.
With the Mustang, I wish they'd kept the landing skids.
I mean, it's lost some of its character with the landing skids, but it still has so much more character than any other starter ship. Like the new rework, if you've seen the images on that, it does look damn sexy.
I'll reserve judgment until we see it. And
I think getting rid of a hobbit hull will give them a lot more space, and I think that gives them more room to work with.
Well, here you go. Let me throw this into the mix, Algared. You stated this before the show. The Drake starter ship of the salvaging ship. We also know that's on the cards, but we don't know quite what that's going to be yet. Do you see that fitting?
Well, we know it's going to be the Vulture. We know it's going to be a salvage vessel, because that's what we voted for.
I'm not going to alter the idea, the concept, and change it completely, though.
Yeah, it could just be a Titan suit. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, we have, but we know that Drake ship will be a starter ship. We know it's a Drake starter ship. We know it's going to be a salvagey type vessel, and that's about all we can say. But we know it's going to be in that kind of.
To me, it makes logical sense that can go inside other ships, though, because it would have to be small enough to get to the really valuable stuff inside a salvage ship to be worth it. It sounds to me like it's more of an EVA/Titan suit / very small ship that you can. And think about it. It has to be able to fit through a door, right? So you're talking about
of like a 2-stage rocket where one half is a rocket and the other half is a Titan suit. It just literally attaches.
Does it have to be? Or could it just be like the a ute where you park the ute, hop out, chuck the stuff in the back, and
you got the tractor on the back, like the mini 4-wheeler.
The one I mentioned was almost like a sea barge where you walk up. You can just walk into the back cabin and take off. And I actually expect this to have at least one drone for bringing cargo back to dump into the ship, and it's almost like they've stated that there's a smaller repair drone that everyone's going to get from the Kickstarter. I expected it'll be something akin to that, but all it literally does is there's some kind of pod or bag or whatever you want to call it that it just moves from A to B. So it follows you, and then when you fill it up, and you can just tell it to go back and come back, and that's all it'll ever do. It's just literally a pony drone.
It's a My Little Pony drone. I like the idea.
Yeah, well, people like My Little Pony, so why not? I've got Hello Kitty. Why not My Little Pony drone?
There's all different colours and faces on them. I've got to collect them all.
Yeah,
and I think the other thing with this ship that's really important that I stated before the show too is it's going to be a starter ship with a defined role, and I think of all the other starter ships, it's probably the one that's going to have the most longevity, as in continue to play with it. Like I can see that working in tandem with a.
If it is a small ship that go inside bigger ships for salvage, even if it's one that's easier to get out of to go inside of ship and do internal salvage, it'll do it because small ship won't be seen as easy. So it'd be a type of nice little ship that you would use for salvage. I could see nefarious types using him for that evil word, that P word.
Search and rescue.
Search and rescue, that's right. Search and rescue. They're searching and rescuing the cargo. That's right.
To be honest, though, I think like the Vulture would be more like the Prospector. Like it won't be the small, cute ship we're all thinking of starter ships. It'll be something more like a Prospector level sort of a ship. And it's a pretty big ship for a starter.
Well, depending on what you need.
Do you know what? That's actually a really cool. You just gave me a really cool idea. Imagine merging what we said earlier about a ship that can go inside ships that attaches to another ship that's just a giant cargo bay. So it like flies up with its big cargo bay, it detaches off, flies in with its little drone, and the drone just comes back and forward with all the stuff while you're cutting off the stuff. You fly back, attach yourself again, and off you go.
Oh, this is like a cargo container with a drone attached to it.
Yep.
Well, we honestly don't know what that.
We don't know.
The other one that you just raised was the Prospector, and
no, sorry,
I always did think.
Wait. The Vulture is the name of the drone, and it sits on your shoulder.
Yeah, but we know the Vulture is the name of the ship.
yeah, but that's why you do it. It's cool.
Put your eye patch back on. Put your eye patch back on, you pirate. But the Prospector, I think, even though I think it's the price point puts it above what we'd consider a starter ship, I actually think that is probably the first starter ship that really did have a defined role.
Sorry, what's it? A career starter, not technically a starter ship.
But they call it an advanced starter, is what it was called.
Starter.
A career starter. Yeah, I'd agree with
that. But it's the MISC ship, but basically it's basically the starter ship of a MISC line.
I'm gonna change that and challenge your preconceptions and say the Herald.
No, Hull A is the starter of the MISC.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that by $10. But
we don't have it yet.
The Herald as well, though. The Herald does your hacking profession, your data running profession, your info running profession.
Oh,
but the Herald and the Prospector are well up in the price point, where the Hull A was $50.
Dude, the Herald when it came out was $90 LTI.
Yeah,
it's 85
Hull
now,
A when it came out was $50 LTI.
Yeah, that's why I gave it to him.
So,
but yeah,
I had forgotten that, but yes, I would agree. The Hull A would be your MISC starter, and that makes sense for MISC because they are known for the Hull series and their cargo-y type stuff. So that actually
need
does
more ships like that. They need more ships in that price range that are so focused.
I just thought of another one. The SEN, the science lab on the Reliant.
But the Reliant core is seen as the starter ship, not the SEN.
Yeah, but we're talking about career starter.
It is a career starter. It is a dedicated ship.
Yeah. So there are a few. That's actually stuff I need to take in.
Yes. It's not stuff we were actually thinking, but in terms of ships that are designated as starter ships or ships that you can get with packages, I suppose that's the big thing.
And I think it naturally increases their longevity when they're like that. If you were talking about pure dedicated starter and they slip that Vulcan in there as a starter, I think it's going to be almost the ship of choice just because of the longevity of it. If you can use it to do everything or almost everything the others do. So, for instance, if it is what I said, where it's a giant cargo container with a rocket attached to it and you just fly inside, but if you can go to a planet and land it and get cargo in it and get it back and make enough money to do other things with it, that's a ship that you'll use as your starter, that you'll come back to at a later date to use more with your salvaging.
Well, you
That's
may
going to
even
make it
use
a really valuable ship because it's got
You could
longevity.
even use that as the type of ship to refuel or refill some of your bigger ships. That, hey, I can take my little
Here's
ship that sits in my cargo hold.
Interesting comparison, and I just thought of it now. Compare the hull A to the 135C. It's got the same amount of guns. Oh.
Yeah. Okay, why would
What's
you go
the
for
price?
125?
What's the price of the
135C
over
the hull?
I had it open. Hold on, I'll go back and.
Oh god, I'll get the hull A price. Sorry.
Yeah. You can just do that on the wiki. Okay, so do we want it standalone or do we want it? Warbond is $60 and non-Warbond is $66.
So they're the same price,
Yeah,
but
that
it's
was the
got
game pack.
But
That's the game pack.
no, the game pack.
It's
Yeah,
separate.
on its own, the 100i is $44. Warbond $49.
But
That's US pricing to Australian.
And to Australia.
So it's
What's the
about
135C as like by itself? Like, what's its total price as a ship?
credit or Warbond.
War bonds, let's say.
So
Just
Warbond
for-
is $60.50, and the 100i is $44.
It's $55 USD if
Yeah.
you're looking at taxes in Australia.
Yeah, I'm trying to take
Silly
taxes
people.
off. So it'd be
We've got international viewers.
It'd be $40 for the 100i and $55 for the 135C.
135.
So it's $5
For
more than
$5,
the
you can get
hull A.
everything for the same, but with a shipload cargo. If
Yeah,
I look at, oh my god, this is embarrassing.
yeah, I'd be taking the whole A, guys and girls.
Yep.
100%.
That's right. Or 100i buyer's guide. If you really want to get the on the 35C, buy a hull A. Okay, you got it from us. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Inforunners.
Whole,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, we were going to say it was our used car sale.
Look,
The 100i was second
For
hand. Well,
$5 more, are you going to put up with 6 SCU, or you want 48 SCU on your hull A, and you still get the 2 size 1 guns? Okay.
and I think it's still got the bed.
Let's be honest.
And it can still land.
The whole A is
Uh,
going to be
yeah.
slow. The whole A is going to be slower. Let's give it that. But seriously,
but Come
the
on,
amount of
the hull
money
A
you're
does
gonna,
look. The hull A does look really iconic and cute.
and you're going to
I
make a lot
actually
of
got that
money.
just because it looks so good.
You make a lot of money with that ship.
Yeah.
48 cargo is nothing to be sneezed at. I think that's more than
half,
the Cutlass.
half a Connie.
Yeah, it's half a Connie. 96 on the Connie from memory. I can't remember the Cutlass off the top of my head. But that's a lot of cargo for a ship that size.
Yeah. Yeah, why would you go 100? Why would you go 135? Why would you go an Aurora CL? Why would you go Mustang?
It just,
No, that's right.
they just.
Uh,
I'm starting to think it's got to be the luxury tax again. It's the only thing that I can think of. Why would they put the ship there? Why isn't it priced at $45? Well, like the other ships, but I guess it is, isn't it? But only
well,
at
the luxury tax is the fact that it's got no weapons.
They took it off at the other end, not at this
It's
end.
the
I get it.
same price as the 300i, and I got to bet you the 300i is going to have more than 6 SCU in cargo space.
Well, I think the 300i currently has more than 6 SU cargo space
Why would you buy this ship? It's like,
as a stepping stone to a 300i.
Let's have a look at it. I'm pulling it up now. 300i. Let's have a quick look.
God.
Origin
So,
jump works.
again, 300i buyer's guide. If you want to get the 135C, just buy an 300i. It's the same price. You're getting more
Yeah.
for the same amount, you know?
One of the
More
questions that's
guns.
come up in chat today, Haze, is like, how much do we think this is going to grow? And it is. It's going to grow. You're getting a freelancer for, like, jump on this shit now before the price jumps. It's going to grow in size. There's the only thing that makes logical sense. And they said it themselves on the chat.
We know that they basically said on RTV or ATV the other day that they were looking at all the problems, and they knew, as they were dealing with those problems, they knew they needed a new starter ship because the 300i no longer filled that role. That means the 300i has grown in their thinking. They already know that, they're just not telling us.
Yeah.
What it looked like, whether it's going to be single crew and it grows like the Avenger, or whether it's going to be multi-crew and is more like a Cutlass or a Freelancer, we don't know. We actually think or hope it's more freelancer cutlass?
Well, think of it like a less gun. It already is. Like, even with the size 4 and 2 size 3, it's got less firepower than a freelancer, which is fair because it's an origin ship. But the one thing it will have an advantage.
Can I
of,
just
even
say
if it's not cargo, will be speed.
the cargo size of the 300 is actually stated at 2, so it's the exact same.
Yeah, but the thing, this is going to grow. This is going to be bigger. This is going to expand. This is not going to be
I'm
100.
Sorry, I'm just saying with the current stats. That's
Okay.
what it is. All variants are listed as 2 other than the 350R, which is 0.
But if you get a ship in the Cutlass and Freelancer range, the one thing that the 300, I guarantee it's going to be faster than both those ships.
Yep.
But
It'll be
you got a 350R. It's going to be...
Like I stated on the show, I think it'll be a really good example of a blockade runner. I reckon that's what its niche is going to be. It's going to be a ship that can carry cargo really fast and get you need to where you go, but it won't have as much to say as a freelancer.
Well, then you look at the 325A, it's going to be like a half decent sort of gunnery, but with speed compared to like the Cutlass and the Freelancer, like less armor.
Well, I really do hope they do make the 300 more than a single cruise ship, because otherwise it's just really another Avenger.
Yeah,
I think that might lead it, Algared. I think that might actually lead it pointing to that it'd be more likely a Cutlass-sized ship. But I think you're right. Increasing the number of people in it, at least increasing it to 2, would be a really wise move.
There's nothing wrong with it being a Cutlass-sized ship. It just doesn't have to be as fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, gentlemen. Then, using the variants, then what would you? And we're speculating on speculation here, kind of, because it's not confirmed. But I think we can guarantee that 300i is going to grow. What variant? If you were going to get one 300i in that series, in the 300 series, what one would you get, and why? I can tell you mine, but you guys go ahead first. All right, you go first because he's got to think and it hurts.
Yeah, I've got to think. That's right.
Okay, so no, you go first to execute because I'm going to pull up an image.
All right, cool. Well, I think it will possibly be the 315p due to the exploration variant. I think a fast ship that can explore and has a very small cargo space could be really valuable for places like ruins and stuff like that when you find like an artifact hunter ship. If you look at the other exploration variants, we've got our world explorers, our system explorers, our wormhole navigation ship, but we do not have a relic hunter. And I think that would work really well. And in your downtime, you could still use it as a blockade runner. Better scanning suite than the touring, so therefore you're able to find stuff. You could also use it to possibly help out with mining. I think it makes it a little bit more. It's probably the most versatile of the variants, and that's why I would say that one.
Okay, I've put a link to the image I want to share. If you can bring that up.
Yeah, that one there. Oh, you've been watching this show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know what you've been watching. Really need to recommend it.
I'll start talking about this now. This would be what I would want to see the 350R rework or something like this. This is out of The Expanse Season 3, Episode 1, and this is a really expensive luxury racer ship that they escape away in. And
did you get? I gotta ask. Did you get a M50 vibe when the colors came up on screen? You know when it's parked in the cargo bay. Yeah, I went M50.
Oh, it's so beautiful. That's how a racing spaceship should be like. None of this other crap.
Slightly abstract and arty as well.
Arty and just a big engine. And oh god, and that way I think like when you think about the 600 and if it was brought down to a 300 size, like between the 300 and 100, this is around the same size a 350R would be. And maybe once you got the curves of the 600, this almost looks like a very similar design style that I could imagine the 300 ended up being. Maybe not with the huge engine in the middle, but the curvature and the bit of a fatter size as opposed to a thin aircraft type thing. I would not say this is too far of a departure what I would think the 300 might look like. And that gets me excited.
But I would have to say the one big difference between the Expanse and Star Citizen is the realism level is a lot higher in the Expanse, and that's why.
Are you saying the fidelity's better?
Not the fidelity, the realism. So their design is more based around real world, not about how it looks like. So the ships in Star Citizen all kind of look cool, where the ships in the Expanse are way more functional and just totally covered in thrusters and shit like that.
Expanse is like it will work and it's designed well as opposed to Rule of Cool, which is Star Citizen.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my concern, sorry, my concern with that 300 growth is the 350R. Because at the moment with racing, we know the racing is built for Murray Cup type style racing. We know that the 350 has been built as a Murray Cup racer. It's in the history and the lore as a Murray Cup. If it becomes more than a two-person ship and it grows too much, it blows that out of the water. It just won't work in Murray Cup. Now, true, we have done Starfarer racing around Olisar. We have seen people do Caterpillar racing. We've seen people do Canyon racing. But in terms of Murray Cup racing, they've got to keep it within that thing. And that's one of the things that does make me think they might make it grow it in size, similar to an Avenger.
Algared, didn't you hear about the 150R?
They're not doing the 150R. They said they're not.
Yeah, they're gonna. No, they
They
probably
said-
not. But to me, it makes sense. Like,
No,
rather
it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. But they said they were asked, and they said, "No, we've got the 350 and we've got the 350R and the M50. We don't need another racer in Origin." That's why we're not having
so-
They put that down to their bad marketing, and they don't even understand the 300 rework that people are trying to sell the ship.
You know, so
I could easily put it down to that. But the thing is, why can't you have a 30-meter 350? Why can't it be an amazingly fast ship? I had this conversation
look,
before.
I've got no problem
and
with it being
I
amazingly
think of the
fast.
600, right?
Racing.
This is supposed to be a speedster ship. This is the fastest ship of its class. It's going to beat every other ship from A to B and like leave them in the dust. So in other words, this thing's going to have zip. This is not going to just have maximum top speed. It's going to have huge amount of acceleration. Think of it as a huge Connie, but on steroids, like with your nitros on it, and just goes like turns around, just whoosh off in that direction.
I
People
can
go,
see.
more like
holy shit! How am I going to catch this thing? That's the sort of ship this is going to be.
like
Now
a
think about
dragster.
shrinking that
Would you say it's
to
more
half
like?
the size. Shrink that not from 90 meters, not 45 meters. Shrink it down to 30 meters. Think about how
Hey,
fast
nice 30 meter,
Yeah.
300
it's
ship.
gonna
Yep.
be. It's gonna be a damn dragster of a ship. It's gonna be like going from A to B, going, whoosh in one direction, and then turn while it's moving, and change direction really quickly.
I
It
could
is
see
gonna
it
be
being.
Fun ship. And
I
that's what-
could see a role for it as a multi-crew ship where your second crewman is actually your engineer.
navigator.
And I wasn't thinking. Well, it could be
It's
navigator.
your
could be
rally.
your-
It's your
could be
rally
a rally
ship.
car.
navigator driver.
I was also thinking engineer who's basically tweaking the engines constantly, making sure the fuel's getting there and everything else to give it that extra boost.
So is that your kind of the variant you'd like to see of the 300 series, Algared?
I would.
So you both wanting the three?
I wouldn't mind seeing it, but it wasn't what I was
350R.
thinking. I don't know what I'd have wanted.
Well, my
depends on
question
how they
was, what do you think will be the best variant of the 300 series after the rework? And mine was the 315p for the versatility of the reasons I mentioned before.
I would say, based on the rework, I would say the 350 just for speed and being a better blockade runner.
Yeah, I mean, a 350 at the moment only has racing. At the moment, as soon as you start upsiding its capacity, its size, and what it sort of do, imagine a second pilot, like an actual racing ship with a co-pilot. Suddenly, this is
A rally car.
big deal. This is.
I like the idea of it being a rally car. If you've got a navigator plotting the course, then if you've got your course plotted by a player, and then you make those turns because you've pre-plotted it, the engine's actually kicking better, and you don't get that slide, and you don't get everything else. That would make it.
Maybe that might be the difference in the variant, though, Algared. All the other ones have 2 seats, but the 350R only has 1 seat. That could be. I don't know. I do like the idea of a 2-seater racer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to admit, I do like the idea of a rally car, but again, it changes it from being that Murray Cup racer, and that type of thing is the one thing that does make me think they might go single player ship, go down making it the size of the Avenger, which I think would be a mistake because it then makes it too much like the 100 series, but it makes it grow a little bit, and I think that would be a mistake. I think if they do that to me will be saying they've gone that Greg line. At the moment, I just think they're just being a business.
We know it's grown, though,
I
because
don't agree with that, though. I don't think they will go for a single seater. The whole thing is, the whole reason they had to plug this hole with the 100 is the fact that it is no longer that sort of a ship, and that if this was only like a slightly like I don't know extra 3 or 4 meter ship and about the same definitions of what the 100 is basically a carbon copy of what
the 300 series
right in game, except for the weapons. Everything else is identical. They have obviously put this into the lineup in order to replace it completely, and because the 300 has turned into something completely different.
And we just don't know what it is yet.
We just don't know what it is yet. And because it's in between the 100 and the 600, the 300 has to logically be a progression curve. I'm not saying it's going to be half the size, but even if it was a third of it, that's impressive.
I think...
Can I ask... Sorry, I have to ask this because it's just come to my head, and if I don't ask it... Why the hell didn't they just go, oh, so this is the image of the new 300 WeWork, and we've changed the name of it to the 100...
And raise the price
and raise the price and do a concept of the new 300 instead.
Because
it would have sold like hotcakes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I suppose
because of the name change, and people
that's
would
the next sale.
Yeah, because
after
people
the 100i sale, they're going to resell the 300,
but that's
going to be like double the price.
I think it's because people would have complained. No, I paid for the 300. I want the 300. I don't want this 100. That's why they've done it. I reckon people would have complained.
I have to say that's why they've done it, because they had such a kerfuffle when they said, hey, the Cutlass has changed. And people said, that's not the speedy fighter that I purchased.
Have you actually heard what they've actually...
As if people couldn't understand that you were never going to get a speedy fighter, cargo ship, everything that the Cutlass was originally...
Did you hear what that was originally pitched as, Algared?
The
dropship from Aliens. And now I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah! But previously, nope.
No.
Nope.
But
that was their style guide. They took the idea
won't be a problem for the 300, because if they remake the 300 and it's bigger, the one thing it will not be is slow.
Well, the
or fat.
Yeah.
Or fat.
Yeah, or fat. Or it might be a little.
What did they say? What was the thing about the 600i? They said no.
The chubbiness of the 600i. Doesn't that appeal to you? There's curves and the chubbiness on the sides. It's cute.
I don't want to hear about your BBW fantasies. Just
what we call it?
No straight lines.
Yeah, no. The no terminating lines.
Voluptuous curves on that 600i.
I'm going to be sick. No, they said on RTV there can be no terminating lines with the 600i. It has to all kind of smooth off and taper into somewhere.
And even the 100i sees a little bit of that too. So I imagine 300 is going to be chock stock.
300i though, with the wings, realistically, they really do have that. But if they got that like super circular, like, and they went into like this
version, but on the 300,
you mean turn it into a Vulcan?
If you literally take the 300i, not quite Algared, but if you take the 300i and apply that no termination rule, I think you'll get something really close to what the 300i is going to look like. So you would have to smooth out the curves. Like if I bring up I got the ship matrix image here. Look, hang on.
A Star Trek Vulcan ship.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're talking about big circular rings. I'm talking about... here we go. Hold on. So here we go right here. So this is the 300i, right? So you can see there...
Instead of being angular, have it more circular.
Yeah, it'd be more curvy. So it'd be almost like two ovals or something like that. Or just one giant loop at the back of the plane. And,
yeah, well, if you have a look at
connect.
If you have a look at the 100 series and that kind of curve that they've got at the back, which is, I think, cries out to the 300 series design, I think you'll see that it seems to have more of a curve. At least that's what I thought it had.
Well, I'll share the image I just put in. Just showed you an image in the channel. Bring that up if you can.
Right, hang on. Oh, that one. Okay, here we go.
Come on, we're using it as a screenshot.
What's this one?
Okay, this is a image that was shared with me in our Spectrum thread of all places from Lee82, and he wrote this up, and this is an interpretation of what the 300 series will look like based on the 600i styling.
I can see that, man. I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. That looks
very...
awesome.
I can see the 100i, and I can see the 600i in that. That's really cool.
Although I would hope...
And it's sleek. It is really sleek.
I would still hope that the 300 series had the gull wings. Had the DeLorean.
Yeah, if you had the gull wings in here somewhere, just in front, like, say these were a bit straighter, and that was a gull section, I could see that. Because that's the one thing I was thinking too, Algared, there's no entry point. Where's his entry point?
Cockpit.
You know? Yeah, if it's a cockpit entry, you may maybe. But that said,
I'd like to see the 300 series keep the gold wings.
yeah,
Because
but
they're iconic.
We know though, Algared, that they don't give a shit about iconics. They'll just replace it if they need to. So, yeah, I reckon they'll possibly throw away the animations of the ladder as well. So I reckon you're more likely going to get a gold door that is. So this ship will be. You know how the other one stands on like these stilt things.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be lower to the ground. I reckon you'll get a gold door similar to the door on the Terrapin, but I reckon it'll open at the top and at the bottom.
Even like the 100 eye door, that sort of works as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the 100. Yeah, sorry, I should have thought of that, but I just haven't spent a lot of time looking at this ship, to be honest, as much as I should have done. Yeah, okay.
Well, that's the funny thing is, I reckon they've done a great deal of like work to what the 300i is going to look like. Otherwise, they wouldn't redesign the 100i so immediately and quickly. I think they would have had a good idea what they already want the 300i to look like before they even think about literally dropping the 100i so quickly.
Interesting one in chat, and I can't believe we didn't think of this either. What about an upsized 850 shape? That's something that we haven't thought about putting it in. Is it unique enough to the 890 jump that it doesn't carry those aesthetics, or should it have some of the aesthetics from it taken to these as well?
If you look at
the 100i does have things taken from the 890, like the nose.
Yeah, you look at the nose on our screens over there. That's 890.
Yeah.
So I looked at the 100i, and to me, I initially thought, oh, I can see 300, I can see 890, I can see 600.
Yeah.
So to me, I could see all of the Origin ships kind of fitting into that, and so I just thought it was a nice unification of the style guide, which was one of the things that appeals. It's a nice. You can see its Origin. It looks Origin. It feels Origin. It's just not particularly.
Mr. Dre Pioneer says 890 will change it in look. I hope not. It's such a goddamn beautiful ship. Like, the more of the original concept they keep. Like, can you imagine if they changed the look of the Carrack? And from what it is now in the community outlash and backlash?
Yeah.
I think the 890 jump double that outrage and, like, you know... Then
I would imagine that given that they've given the 100 bat nose, which is straight from the 890, that we'll see that same style and look in the 890. It might lose some of its sharpness. It might be that the butt is less flat and is more rounded. So her butt might not look as big in the 890. But at the end of the day, I think they'll keep pretty much the same.
But to be honest, I think the 600 was modeled off the 890 jump. Like, they took cues from the 890
and went down
to make the 600 style.
They haven't started the 890 jump. I think literally the reason why they're doing, and if you look past at the other ship manufacturers, Constellation's a really good example. They do a ship in the middle, and then they scale up and scale down. Hull C's another example. That's exactly what they're going to do here. That they've even stated the teams are going to split off, and you know they're already working on the 300i. And I reckon that's heavily influencing, and that's why one team's going to jump into the Banner and the other team's going to jump into the 890 jump, because they'll have the style guide down pat, and there's your Origin. And I think I get a very big BMW feel of Origin of late, since like how things are coming around. Almost crossed with Audi, the curves of Audi, but the style of they've got a quality of Mercedes-Benz, but the style of Audi. And I don't know how to explain that, but if you know your cars, you know what I'm talking about. It's got a curve.
It's a spaceship. You can put so many more curves in a spaceship than you can a car.
Yeah. See, if Drake was made in Texas, then Origin would be a European one. You know, like that type of analogy. Or Detroit. I should have said Detroit. But anyway.
Well, Origin aren't European, aren't they? Aren't they the German company? The GBH Origin Jump Works, or whatever it is.
I think they are, actually. It does say GBDH up there, so it's
They hail from originally German. I do believe.
All right. Anything else we need to cover? I think we're coming up on about almost 2 hours, or 10 minutes off 2 hours. So
really?
Yeah, we've had a long one today, longer than we usually do. Yes,
we ranged all over.
Yes,
there's a mighty jewel here.
So if you're going to get your questions in, get them in now. Otherwise, we're going to go off and.
We might actually just want to close this up. And so this was the end of our Origin, this time for real 100 Eyes Buyer's Guide. And as usual, the recommendations we gave to you is to buy the Warbond LTI starter pack or the Warbond LTI starter ship and upgrade to a 300 or a hull A or
Whatever ship you
anything
want.
else, but
The other ships that we mentioned that were profession starters, so the Herald,
Yeah.
the Reliant Sand, the Prospector, ships that have got legs, and if it eventually does come out, the other one to add to that would be the Drake Vulture. Anything that just has a profession attached to it is just going to run longer and be more useful.
yeah. Like, don't not buy the 100i, but buy
Yeah.
it for a
Look,
reason.
if you
Not for
like the
100i.
100i, you buy it.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, of course.
but we think there are better options. As always, it's only advice and our opinion.
yeah, take it with a glass of salt. It's like
A bucket over the shoulder of salt.
yeah.
All right.
Anyway, that wraps it up. This is Haze here. Up upstairs we have Execute and.
Ow. See you around.
All right. Catch you guys.